Hello and welcome back to the Sad Fan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad. And I mean, like, if you're not a World Cup fan, this might not be the episode for you because wow, have we had a couple weeks here for the World Cup, and we're going to be focusing primarily on that. Yes, we know that Kawhi Leonard is going through his own scandal. Steve Ballmer, and the Clippers. We know that Pablo Torre over at the Dan Levitard Network, Meadowlark, has won a Pulitzer Prize for his work on that. But we're not, I don't know, it's kind of boring, right, to talk about finances and billionaires getting away with stuff, skirting the rules. I mean, that's something that happens in our country every day. So it is great that they were able to win a Pulitzer Prize about that. But all that does is shine more light on something we already know. Billionaires are going to do whatever they want. Billionaires are going to billionaire. They have money. They're going to skirt around the rules. We had a unmeaningful fight after the McGregor fight went, and nothing came of that. So there's not much to talk about in MMA. Football, we're getting ready to enter the season here in August, but we still got some time left for that. Baseball had their all-star break, and we had a home run derby that was interesting. Netflix did a decent job introducing, Will Ferrell's new show in between the home run derby and everything that was going on there. But around all that was just ancillary because the World Cup happened. And we had our semifinals, and let's talk about that first semifinal. That first semifinal of Spain against France. Wow. I mean, Spain came out, like I said, it would be the unstoppable force against the immovable object. Well, the immovable object won, and they frustrated France like crazy. We saw Mbappe just really exhibit that frustration in his yellow card that he received for his, let's just say, pushing of the keeper. And I mean, Spain knows how to do this, and Argentina knows how to do this. We're going to get to Argentina here in a second. But Spain knows how to do this. They know how to needle you and needle you and needle you and needle you until you can't take it anymore and you react. And what happens when you react is you get carded, you get the penalty. Spain has been doing that for a very, very long time. And Cucurella, he is just the embodiment of that when he plays. He is exactly what annoys everybody about that Spanish football style. Now, Lamine Yamal plays a beautiful game at 19 years old, but he hasn't really been the reason that Spain have been able to go on this run. In fact, he has been, kind of like I said about all the topics that we have in sports right now, an ancillary factor to Spain's World Cup run. This is a complete team. This is a complete team, and they did this to France in the Euros, and they did it to France in the World Cup, and now they're going to face what appears to be inevitable, and we're going to explain why it appears to be inevitable here in just a second. But back to Lamine Yamal, I think it's pretty hilarious that the photo has been making the rounds. I mean, you kind of wonder what the odds of the photo that I am talking about ever occurring might be, but it is Lamine Yamal getting baptized, or a photo shoot of him getting baptized by Lionel Messi, and many are saying it is the proverbial passing of the torch. And I don't know. I don't know if Messi is ready to pass that torch yet. I do know that in this game against France, I think that France had the best team. France had the most talent stacked team. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they had the most talented team, but not the best team. Maybe it is Spain. It remains to be seen tonight. Maybe it is Spain that has the best team, because Spain has been able to go out there and control most games. Maybe Cape Verde is a lot better than we thought after what they were able to do to Argentina in regulation and what they were able to do to Spain in the group stages. But Spain has been a consistent squad throughout this World Cup. I mean, yeah, they were a favorite going into it, but I don't know if they were a favorite for the reasons that they've been able to progress, because this team looks like one that will not be denied their opportunities when they come. And they are a team that will deny opportunities repeatedly. And again, you saw that there was a ton of frustration on the French side, so much so that you had Mbele not able to do anything. And then you had Mbappe not able to do anything and trying to force the game, which is exactly what Spain wanted them to do. Spain wanted them to try to force the issue, and they got exactly what they wanted out of that French squad. Now, that, of course, led to France ending up in the third place game against England. We still haven't gotten there yet, but there's a little bit more on that topic I want to talk about. But let's talk about last night's third place game. Wow. Wow. Is that good for Thomas Tuchel or bad for Thomas Tuchel? We're going to talk about that as we get to the Argentina English section of today's broadcast. But I don't know what happened last night. I think it's probably bad for Thomas Tuchel because many people, let's not jump the gun. Let's not talk about Argentina, England just yet. All right. But I have a lot to say there, especially based on what we saw last night. What we saw last night was pretty wild. And granted, different game, different stakes, different goals. Lots of different goals. 10 to be exact. 10 goals. All right. Saka put in 3. And again, you just sit back and you wonder, hey, no, we're not there yet. We're not going to get to that yet. We cannot get to what we think about Thomas Tuchel just yet. But it was what I think both teams needed that outlet, England and France. They needed an explosion of goals, good or bad, for the keepers of each team. These teams needed to let off some steam, and let off some steam they did, because these two teams went out last night and put on an absolute clinic in how to score goals. They showed us what this game could look like if it was just offensive, and they were on the offensive. They were left, right, front, center, pumping in shots at the keeper, and that led to a ton of goals. And you're left to wonder. Now, obviously, Mbappe was going for that record, and he did get it last night from Lionel Messi. In going for that record, you have to wonder, like, where was this? Is Spain just that good? Because he went out there, he got that record. Obviously, we have the final to be played still to see if he can maintain that record. But at a minimum, you think Mbappe has 2 more World Cups in him, right? At a minimum, at least 2 more World Cups. He is already one of the best World Cup players of all time, if not the best World Cup player of all time. People want to throw Maradona. People want to throw Pele in there, but the game has changed. The athleticism has changed. They're not playing against the same style players. They're playing against players that do this year round. And even with the expansion of the tournament, we didn't see anyone go out there and put up a worse game. We saw teams go out there and play at their peak. Why? Because this is their one opportunity to play on a world stage, and this is their one opportunity to play against some of the best teams on earth. So we saw them play up to that moment. So I think that makes what Mbappe and Messi have been able to do that much more extreme, that much more impressive, because they're doing it against the best players in the world. You cannot believe that the best players in the world in Pele or Maradona's age were as good as the players we have today, because they don't have the technology, they don't have the training, they don't have the film that we have now to get as good as these players are, to be as learned about the game as these players are. So Mbappe, Messi, they are phenomenal players. Mbappe, hats off, because even though it was a third place game, he went out there and he took that record, and they were getting that ass whooped at halftime. All right. So France, to show that fortitude and that bounce back in that game, was phenomenal, because they did exactly what they needed to do to achieve what they wanted to achieve, which I really think is get Mbappe that record. I don't think it was about getting third place. I think it was all about getting Mbappe that record from Lionel Messi, coming away with something from this tournament. Yeah, sure, England, you could have third place. We're going to have the best goal scorer in World Cup history. All right. France, I mean, it has to be said that they are one of the most prolific teams of an era, right? Back-to-back finals and then a fourth place finish. Many, again, myself included, said that this was the most talented team in the tournament. And they were. I mean, they have a Ballon d'Or winner. They have the best scorer in World Cup history. They went out there and they were clinical. They just couldn't overcome what is Spain's specialty. and that is not allowing teams to score goals. And I know last week I said, can France take from this Belgian team some film on how to score? But I failed to think about how can Spain take from this game and put in measures to prevent this from happening again? And they did. They did. They were able to do that. I think that did a lot for the game last night. You just wish it was a United States team that was able to provide that type of experience to World Cup fans, to football fans around the world, to football fans in CONCACAF, and show them what this beautiful game could really be. But that was not to be. Everybody got to play in the World Cup. All right. Tuchel emptied his bench. Everyone that had not seen the pitch yet got an opportunity to get out there and play. And I mean, it worked out. It worked out really well. But now let's talk about that Argentina-England game that led to Argentina making it to the final. I talk about this with the NFL all the time. We live in an era now where you have to strangle your opponent. You have to take the life out of them. If you leave even a little bit of a chance for them to come back, they will, especially when you're playing against a GOAT of the sport in Lionel Messi, who appears to have gotten better throughout his time in playing in World Cups. Because now we're starting to see like the best version of this person that we've ever seen. And it is the greatest footballer we've ever seen. But we're seeing the best version because what was the one thing that everybody talked about him not being able to do? That was perform in the World Cup. That was getting his team to the next level. And he has done nothing but that against every single team. The heroics against Egypt, the game against Switzerland. Like, he has done nothing, Cape Verde, but put his team on his back, and he is rallied around by the other players on his team as what they know him to be, the best player in the world. They know that no matter what is going on in the game with Lionel Messi, they have a shot. And England, wow, Thomas Tuchel, I don't think it was the team. I think that, I mean, you see it in what was not necessarily appropriate, but the reactions and actions of Jude Bellingham. He wanted to go out there and he wanted to fight. He wanted to play. He had that fire in him, but he was not allowed to display that fire because Thomas Tuchel went into a defensive formation, putting 5 back, and just allowed for Argentina to tee off on his team repeatedly. And I don't know how that's your strategy against a player who has done nothing but in the previous round show that this is not the way to continue to play against this team. If you leave them a crack of sunlight, they will find their way out of a hole. And boy, did they. I mean, you felt for Pickford in that game because he was just getting pelted. And the miracle of Messi being able to put that ball wherever he wants was taking place right before our eyes over and over and over and over for 20 minutes. What did you expect to happen, Thomas? You decided not to continue to do what was working, which was ball control in their half. And you decided to sit back in your half. That wasn't what got you the lead. That wasn't what led to Argentina being down a goal. All right? You were on the offensive. You were taking control of the game. And instead, you gave that over to the best player on the planet. And you said, I dare you to beat me. And he said, her. And he went out there and beat you. It was one of the worst displays of coaching. In fact, it's weird because as a Villa fan, yes, Konsa I'm so happy for him. All right. But that wasn't the sub I would have made. Now, granted, I'm not out there with them. I don't know how tired that back line was. But also, here's what was crazy to me is Konsa, even on his club team, is not the guy that's sending in crosses. And England had him in a moment of desperation as that guy. That's not his game. That's not who he is. So it's utterly ridiculous that Thomas Tuchel thought that this was going to work out. And granted, like I said before, I am not in the practices, but I do watch all Villa games, and this is just not who this player is. He is a very offensive defender, but he's not the guy I have out there. He's not the guy that Unai Emery has out there sending in crosses. It was a terrible disappointment to see what was happening with that English squad because I was pulling for them. I really wanted to see England do it. But again, it appears that Messi is inevitable. All we saw in these elimination games is the team, Argentina, solely reliant on Lionel Messi, and it worked in their favor. And All they have done is be proven right for the strategy of get Messi the ball, Messi will make miracles happen throughout the entire tournament. Get Messi the ball, Messi will make miracles happen. And for some reason, England wasn't prepared for that. And it's baffling. It's baffling to me. Thomas Tuchel was brought in to not be that type of manager. And what did Thomas Tuchel do? He got scared of the moment, put his team in a defensive posture, and lost. All right. He was brought in to do the exact opposite of what he did, and he faded, he faltered, he fell to his knees at the feet of a football god and lost that game. His squad was tired. He had much better players on the bench than the players he put in. It's not a knock against them. They made their national team. It's just a fact. There are much better players for him to be able to put in than the ones he chose to put in. So that all being considered, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know how he was thinking it, but it did not lead to anything good. And now here we are. Here we are with Argentina against Spain in the final. And I don't know that this was the final that the world wanted, but it's the final the world's going to get. And you have to wonder, is Lionel Messi inevitable? Is he Thanos of this tournament? Will he snap his toes together and make a 2 World Cup in a row champion out of Argentina? And I mean, I think so. Based on what we've seen throughout this World Cup, it just looks like there is nothing in this world or others that is going to stop Lionel Messi from being a 2-time World Cup champion. And it's interesting because Spain definitely looks like they're the team of the future. They've got a 19-year-old center back that has played better than 19-year-old Lamine Yamal. And we're watching Pau out there, and Pau looks amazing. He looks phenomenal. And it looks like Spain is going to be this boogeyman for years to come. And we're just looking forward to the next Euros to see if anyone's going to be able to overcome this team in the European Championship. But right now, we've got this World Cup matchup that is, years ago, I think would have been a dream matchup. Right now, is it a dream matchup or is it an inevitable meeting of two teams to allow Lionel Messi to go away, leave? And I don't even know if he's going to leave after the performance he's put in, but leave the World Cup game, retire as an international football player with 2 World Cup championships. And I just don't see how Spain's going to stop him at this point. I mean, granted, yeah, they are the best team in the world at not allowing goals, but Lionel Messi is Lionel Messi. That's all I have. That's the only analysis I have. And I think right now, that's the only analysis you need, because that's all. I mean, granted, the Argentinian manager has been moving him around the field as a strategy, but really the strategy outside of, hey, let's move him to this side of the field, see what happens, is get him the ball, get him the damn ball. And the way Lionel Messi plays, conserving his energy throughout the entire game, from moment to moment to moment, you're seeing Erling Haaland start to copy it a little bit, but just his ability to walk, and then boom, the game comes to his feet, and he's just going to make miracles happen. He's just going to be absolutely phenomenal, and you have to love it. I think you don't have a choice here. You have to love what you're watching, because you are literally watching the greatest football player to ever do it. And you're watching this footballer prove it over and over and over and over again in every single moment, no matter the opponent. They know if Lionel Messi gets that ball at his feet with little time remaining, it's over. It's done. You've lost. All right. And I think there's something to be said about that aura that is presented in every single game, and has just been never more apparent than this World Cup, than the 2026 World Cup. It's fantastic. I'm glad he decided to show up in the North American World Cup. But I mean, you fear for Spain, you fear for that young team. You're hoping that they are going to be more thought out in their strategy should they have a lead, but you just don't know what Spain is going to feel is safe. Because right now in this World Cup, all we have seen is that there is not a single lead. There is not a single thing you can do that is safe from the inevitability that has been Lionel Messi throughout this tournament. And it has been an absolute joy to watch. Again, not the final I was hoping for, but just such an exciting thing to see, which is Argentina down in multiple games and being forced to come back and dig their way out of a hole and win a football game. And they have done it over and over and over again. And we look forward to reviewing this final next week with all of you. We'll see you next time.